Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Good morning and welcome. Hello, hello. How is everyone today? I hope I find you well because, ladies and gentlemen, here in the United States of America, today is a national holiday. It's the 4th of July, otherwise known as Independence Day. Wait, what? No. That's completely the wrong button. Let me try that again. It's the 4th of July, also known as Independence Day. That was a complete mistake. How you guys doing? Yes, today indeed is Sunday, July 4th, 2021. I am DSP, and I am here live on stream with all of you for 4 more days of streaming. That's right, I'm only halfway through my streaming week at this point. Lots more coming for you guys before I take my day off this coming Thursday. Okay? So, hold on. I felt a burp coming. I was like, let me turn away from the mic and not be a disgusting pig. Excuse me. So welcome to the stream, everyone. How's everyone doing? I'm interested to hear, for those of you who live in the United States, I'm interested to hear how you celebrate Independence Day yourselves. For those of you who don't live in the United States, I'm curious if you guys have an equivalent day that you kind of celebrate in your own countries. It's like a very patriotic day. So FYI, Independence Day is supposed to celebrate when the United States of America was formed, when the 13 colonies of Great Britain over here, in North America, revolted against British rule, which they called tyranny at the time, felt it was incredibly unfair, the rules and the way that they were treated compared to the actual, Britain itself, and fought against and revolted and became independent and made their own country. Okay? It's funny how history unfolds, because some people say, oh, this is great, and others are like, oh, actually, it was a bunch of assholes who were rabble-rousing, jerks who just didn't like the way that what they were given by a country, for free. Basically, they were supposed to be over here as agents of Europe, and all of a sudden say, oh, we got a good thing going, fuck them, let's just cut them off and do everything for ourselves, It's interesting how you can hear different sides of a story. How my entire childhood I was told, oh, guys like George Washington and everything were like the best people ever. And then you grow up and you're like, yeah, they were terrible. Oh, really? Interesting. So anyway, it really doesn't matter at this point. We're pretty far into our history as a country. It doesn't really matter anymore what actually happened back then. But today in the United States, this is a day when everyone typically does a few different things. Number one, they cook out. They have big cookouts outside, and I'm sure this year will be like the grand cookout, the grandest cookout of ever. Because last year, everyone was instructed not to do so because of COVID. And now, because COVID restrictions have loosened or been removed in most places, you can definitely count on the fact that people are going to go insane this year with the cookouts and the family gatherings and the like. A lot of people, like I said, gather with family, play outdoor sports, drink beer. It's tradition to get completely sloshed on the 4th of July. And sometimes there's sporting events, sometimes there isn't. It depends. And also, fireworks. Blowing shit up with explosives that look fancy. Some people do it right, some people do it wrong. In most places in the United States, so many people have done it wrong that's banned. Like here in Washington State, fireworks are outright banned in most places. You can only go to like a public fireworks display, which they hold down at like the beach or the seafront. And then the town itself will do a professional grade fireworks display at night to celebrate. But in most places, you can't just sit off your own anymore. Too many people were idiots and blew each other up with fireworks. So, that's basically how we celebrate the 4th of July or Independence Day here in America. Curious if anyone else does anything differently and has any kind of traditions that they do. So, my family, typically on 4th of July, would cook out. My dad had a charcoal grill in the backyard, and he would usually grill us hot dogs and hamburgers. And my mom would make homemade macaroni salad that we would eat with that. And my mom liked grilled chicken, so my dad would actually have like a bunch of chicken legs he would bring out there and grill for my mom. And I'm trying to think if there was anything else, but I think between the burgers, the hot dogs, and the macaroni salad, we always were full, so that was all we really ate. As for fireworks, we never actually bought like fireworks to set off. We used to have things like sparklers, those little popper things that you throw on the ground and they go pop, pop, pop. We used to use those. But basically nothing dangerous. You know, we never did anything, no illegal fireworks, nothing that was ever dangerous or anything like that. But we did used to go down to the beach. There were 2 different beaches in Connecticut that you could go to watch the fireworks display, and we did that many if it was too hot, we'd sit in the car, but if it wasn't that hot, we would go out on the beach and lay out on a beach towel and watch the fireworks above us, which was very nice. Admittedly, watching fireworks live is quite a nice thing to do. So, I hope that if you live in the United States, you have a good Independence Day today, no matter how you celebrate it, because I'm sure everyone is a little different, does things a little bit differently. Personally, not a big deal for me today, because both myself and my wife have to work today. So when that happens, like, what are you going to do? How are you going to celebrate when you're working all day, right? So for dinner, we're going to have hot dogs and beans. An American classic, right? And that's it. That's the only thing we're doing. My wife won't even be home for dinner. I'm going to be making hot dogs and beans and leaving them there for her to kind of warm up for herself afterward. So there you go. Now, by the way, I would like people to not say stupid shit and argue in the stream chat about this. All right, this is not going to be, oh, let's all argue about racial issues and shit in the chat. I don't know what you're even talking about. Seriously, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I'm not talking about that at all. Okay? Well, I've been drinking Bud Light today. If I want to drink piss, I'll just drink my own. I don't need to put it in a can and drink it. That shit is disgusting. I would never drink Bud Light of my own, choice, unless I was maybe coerced to, but I would never do that. Now, let's stop it with any political arguments in the chat right now. I'm just going to forewarn everyone. No political arguments in the chat. If I see it, sorry, I have to moderate. I don't want to moderate, but I want people to have a good time today, and we can't have people arguing about politics in my chat. It's never been allowed, and it will not be allowed today. So let's cut that shit out right now. Okay? All right, good. Yeah, so what am I doing today? Well, playing yet another variety of games. As I scratch Jasper's chin right in front of me, I'm giving him a chin scratch while I talk to you here on the pre-stream today. We're going to be doing Mario Golf Super Rush on the first stream. Continuing on right where we left off, we're in the 4th course, which is a very, very heavy weather course. It's raining, there's heavy winds, there's lightning. It negatively affects every single stroke. And I tried doing some of the stages. I failed some of the practice, but then passed it. And now I believe what I'm doing is like a qualifier, excuse me, a qualifier run. And I failed it. This is the first time in the game that I'm having significant challenge, essentially. I'm wondering if, for those of you who watched me play Mario Tennis many years ago, okay, you may remember that game was quite easy up to a point, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there was a giant difficulty spike without any real rhyme or reason or real justification, because it wanted you to know gameplay elements that had not been introduced or explained in the game at all in order to progress. And people actually had to explain these elements to me on the stream in order for me to understand it so that I could actually progress and keep playing the game. I'm wondering, will this be a similar situation? Because it definitely seems like there's going to be a large difficulty spike today. But maybe I'll overcome it or not. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how many actual holes there are in the game. But when I looked at the world map, it looked like there were maybe 5 to 6 courses, and this is like course 4. So I think we're getting there. We're getting through the game. And likely within another couple of streams, if I can keep making progress, we may beat the story mode and then move on and try the multiplayer mode. But I don't know what's going to happen. Today, are we going to be hampered? Are we going to be held back a little bit? Is it going to actually take a longer to beat today's stuff than it had been up to now? I don't know. Last time around, we beat an entire course and then headed in for another hour of this course. So I don't know if we can do that today. We'll have to see. Okay? So good stuff. I hope you're excited for more Mario Golf. Of course, what we can do is more of the polls where you guys can vote on how well I'll do. Will I do like bogey, double bogey, par or birdie on each hole? These holes are quite challenging. Last time I got like a bogey on every hole. So that should be interesting. Now tonight on the late stream at 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, it will be the continuation of Call of Duty Madness, ladies and gentlemen. I'm using an LMG and going ham on people and having a good time. And it's been a lot of fun so far the last couple of streams. Being that today is the 4th of July, why not go crazy in a first-person shooter, right? Makes sense. Always got to do your duties on Independence Day, as they say. So that's tonight's late stream. Tomorrow, we return back to Mass Effect 3 Legendary Edition. I'll be finishing up the Omega DLC and then continuing on with the main storyline of the game. That should be fun. I hope you'll join me for that. Tomorrow night will be another late night stream of Danganronpa V3, where we're going to head deeper into Chapter 5. Right now, we've got an ongoing mystery of some stuff going on, like what's going to happen now that it seems like all the Monocubs are gone. Are the Exiles really not a threat anymore? If you remember, we've come to a head where all of the surviving students are actually planning on attacking Monokuma to try to escape. So we'll see how that pans out on Monday night, okay? Then on Tuesday, it's the continuation of Fallout New Vegas. Very exciting because we're finally done with the Old World Blues DLC and we've moved on to other content. We're doing other open world exploration content, which hopefully will pan out to be something great. And, Boone is back. I got another follower in Eddie. So it should be exciting on Tuesday. Tuesday night is my weekly chill stream of MLB The Show 21, where it's more about us just kind of relaxing and talking than actual gameplay. And then on Wednesday, my final consecutive streaming day of the week, it will be more Mario Golf. Now, depending on how far we get today, perhaps we'll beat the campaign / adventure mode, whatever you want to call it, of Mario Golf on Wednesday. We'll see. If we do, I think that's actually a good thing. That means then we can finally try out some multiplayer against other people, right? So let's see how it goes. Wednesday night, the final stream of my consecutive streaming week will be more Call of Duty. Okay, then I'm off from streaming on Thursday. When I come back, we will be continuing on with all the ongoing playthroughs and the like. Keep in mind, the one major new release in July is coming up. It is Skyward Sword, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, I should say. The remake where they've removed the motion controls. And you can actually play the game like a normal fucking game. That's good. Because, man, that game sucked with the motion controls. It was a great game that controlled poorly. So it's going to be much better having working controls this time around. So I'm excited for that, but outside of that, there's really nothing going on this month at all in the realm of games. Yeah, I was interested in playing Microsoft Flight Simulator, but there is absolutely no chance I'm going to be able to get an Xbox Series X by the end of this month. As you guys know, finances are already tight as hell, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to pay everything on time this month, so good luck being able to get an Xbox Series X. It ain't going to happen, okay? So, thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys will join me for some of these streams over the next week. All right? As long as you guys think this sounds good. We're continuing on with all the stuff that we're doing. You know, and some people are like, oh, you're not playing anything I like. When are you going to be playing something I like? Listen, I'm playing what's out there, right? Here, let me give you some perspective. In August, I believe there's 5 new releases I'm interested in. In September, there's like 12, right? In October, there's going to be like 10. It's crazy. The next several months is going to be nonstop new releases. But for now, let's play through and get through the stuff we're doing. Let's have chill streams and have a good time. All right? I apologize if these are not games that people are interested in. I'm playing what's available. You know what I mean? If we do have extra time this month, we'll see if we do. I'm considering doing one other downtime game. What it would be, I don't know. But it can't be a lengthy game. It has to be something that isn't going to be, hours and hours and hours to play. So that way, we don't get wrapped up in it so long that I don't get to finish it before all the new releases happen. So I guess we'll see. Okay? Potpourri says, just make those games release earlier, Phil. Come on now, you can do it. Oh, you're right. I should go right down to the game studios right now and just kick the door in, stomp into the upper office, management office, grab them by the neck and start wringing their necks. Release that game! Release that game, motherfucker! Release it! Slap them around. Give it to me! Give me the games! That's how it works, right? Ay, ay, ay. Am I gonna play Hades? It is on my list, Forgotten Nintendog. It's definitely on the list of releases for August. And if I get Xbox Game Pass in August, I could get like 3 of these games coming out on my Xbox One for the same price as 1 month of Game Pass. So I'm definitely considering these games simply because there won't be much of an investment to play them, certain ones. So we shall see. Okay. Shaolin Monks. Huh. King Goku says, is Shaolin Monks good? I have a playthrough of it. John Rambo and I did a co-op playthrough of it many years ago. I remember it being fun, but not being exactly the most polished game ever. It had some wonkiness to it. but a lot of people like it. They remember that game as like a game from their childhood. Yes, a Mortal Kombat game, a game from their childhood. It was pretty good for a co-op game, I would say. It was something unique and different, for sure. So, congrats to Mickey Doodle, who has earned the Silver Crown. Mickey Doodle, congratulations. 2 months of ongoing support here on my streams on YouTube. I appreciate that very much. Thank you for that, and enjoy the Silver Crown. Happy 4th of July to you too, Team Ico Gamer. We were already talking about the holiday and how people celebrate it. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, a few quick things to talk about. First of all, memberships. As you can see, we did gain a few memberships in the last day, which is good. We are working towards 200 total memberships for the month of July. If we hit 200 concurrent memberships at any point during this month, it means we'll be doing a special celebratory event. And it could be many different things, so people have so many different ideas. The first idea is an Indies Marathon, because I haven't done one in so long. To be exposed to new indie games could be a good thing. Another idea is a Rageathon. Another idea would be a retrospective event where you guys nominate moments from my 13 years of history of content creation for us to watch back and reminisce about. Or it could be the continuation of the Super Mario Retro event that I did many months ago, where I challenged myself to do certain things in the Mario game, classic Mario games, such as, beat this stage within 5 lives and stuff like that. Or another idea someone had would be like the Game Pass challenge event, where basically one night I get Xbox Game Pass, and one night we spend a night stream going through the Game Pass listing. We pick maybe like 5-6 games from it. I download them all, and then during a marathon setting, I try out all 6 games. So it could be a Game Pass special event. So all these are perfectly viable as, ideas for a marathon event that I would love to do with you guys. But we got to hit the subs goal to make the marathon happen. I said subs goal again, by the way. I'm still using the wrong terminology, and it's going to take me forever to use the right terminology. Okay? There's a truck backing up outside. It's beeping. So anyway, what do you get as a benefit of becoming a member? Well, number one, your chat gets your name gets highlighted in the chat. Excuse me. I got ahead of myself there. Number two, you don't have to abide by the slow mode rules of the chat. You can chat as much as you want. Number three, you get a cool chat crown badge to show how long you've been a supporter. Number four, you get access to all the emotes of the channel. Currently, there's 17. When we hit 200 members, we'll have 18 and going. Every 25 after that, we unlock a new emote, okay? So there's many benefits to becoming a member. By the way, being a member here is actually cheaper than it was being a sub over on Twitch, and I get more of a cut of it. So please consider becoming a member if you're not, especially if you're a frequenter of the streams or if you support the channel. I will even throw this idea out there. If you're someone who watches these videos on demand, if you're watching this pre-stream on demand right now on YouTube, as many people do, consider becoming a channel member. Even though you will not get those benefits from being on the live stream, it's just a way to ongoing support the channel. Okay? Cool. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've already talked about this the last few days. I'll mention it again. You may notice that the tips goal has been increased to $150 per stream. There's a good reason for that. So after taking a look at my performance in June, which was the first full month that I was full-time streaming on YouTube, I took a look at it and I said, oh man, the good news is it is going well and things are getting better and growing. Super chats, super stickers, memberships, they're decent, and it's going to be a slow build. I know it is. I knew this was going to happen. Then when I took my community and lifted it from Twitch and tried to transpose it over here to YouTube, there was going to be people who were very, very reluctant to come. There's going to be people who are reluctant to become members and adapt to the new ways that you can contribute on YouTube. I knew this was going to happen. So I compared what I made on YouTube to what I used to make on Twitch, and it mostly because of the decrease in subscriptions. On Twitch, I had upwards of 900 subs. Here I have 160. That's members. That's about a $2,000 difference of income a month. Yeah, that's a big deal. And essentially the last couple of months, I've been keeping stuff afloat with the fact that when I first lost my partnership on Twitch, you guys rallied and supported me in a huge way with a bunch of large tips. And that kept me going the last couple of months when I was making way less on YouTube. But now it's kind of dried up, and we're at the point now where I'm looking at things, I'm like, man, if I'm only making $100 a stream, I can't even pay my bills this month. Just coming up this week, to give you guys some perspective, today I have to pay my car payment. I forgot to do it this morning. I'm just remembering now. During the break, I have to make my car payment. Oh, shit. And then coming up this week, my final condo dues for the condo in Connecticut, which they've been, draining me of every month, but finally it's going to get foreclosed on later this month, which means finally I won't have to pay that anymore, thank God. I have my condo payment for this condo that I live in right now. My internet bill is coming up. That's all within the next week, okay? Then after that, I've got my big mortgage payment coming up, and that's on the 15th. So I have to raise a lot of money between now and the 15th to pay my mortgage payment. And then on top of that, right after the mortgage payment, I've got 2 utility bills and my back taxes payment. All that I have to pay before I get paid by YouTube this month on the 21st. And I'm not kidding. This is thousands and thousands of dollars. This is not exaggerating. This is pretty much, very expensive. And I'm in a tight spot because I have to figure out how am I going to afford all of this. So I said, well, really the only way is to basically raise the tips goals and hopefully we'll hit them so that I can pay all this stuff before I get paid by YouTube. And then when I get paid by YouTube, then I should be smooth sailing at least for the rest of the month and into early next month. So that's why I raised the tips goals. But I also added new tip rewards, 3 tiers now instead of the 2 that there always used to be. Now there's 3 tiers of rewards, okay? If we raise $50 in tips on a stream, I put on my Gunner glasses. When we hit $100, everyone votes and to see, put on a vest. And then when we hit $150, it's cowboy hat time, okay? So 3 different rewards, and yes, I will put on the cowboy hat no matter what. It doesn't matter what game I'm playing. I'll take off the headphones and either put them over on my neck or put them on the table next to me, whatever needs to be done, because at this point, I don't really care anymore. I definitely need to be, raising as many tips as I can every stream. And thank you in advance to anyone who does contribute. Someone had an idea. They said, why don't we start doing a new goal where if we hit a certain amount of consecutive streams where we hit the tips goal, that I do a sweeping overreaching reward. So for example, if 6 straight streams we hit the tips goal, then the viewers will be able to vote overnight on the next major stream. And it could be one of the major streams I'm already doing, or it could be maybe a night stream become a daytime stream. And I said, all right, it's kind of a good idea, but then the past couple of days we haven't even maintained like 2 straight streams. Like yesterday, we hit the tips goal on the first stream. We only raised $60 on the late stream. So, I would love to do this new tips goal. It actually makes sense, and I would love to start doing it, but we haven't even had like a 2 streak. So it's not even possible. Right now, starting today, if we hit 6 straight streams where the tips goal was reached, I will do this as a special reward. We'll announce it today. I will start this. We'll call it the Stream Streak Reward. If we get 6 straight streams where we hit the tips goal, you guys can vote on what the final major stream will be of this week, because you figure today's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so you guys would vote Tuesday night on the main stream on Wednesday. Currently, it was scheduled to be Mario Golf, but maybe it could be something else depending on what you guys want. Okay? So there you go. So please consider contributing in any way, and I really appreciate any contributions. Please understand that contributions on my streams are completely voluntary. They are not mandatory. Everyone is here to chill and have a good time with games, including me. But this is also my living. Yes, I am currently in a tough time because of the stuff that happened over on Twitch and trying to become a full-time YouTube streamer here. This is just the pains I got to go through until things basically settle in. All right? So please consider contributing. And if you have the choice of how to contribute, either becoming a member, super chat, super sticker, or tipping, please tip me. I need as many tips as possible to put those tips towards bills. If you become a member or you do a super chat or super sticker, that helps, but I will not see any benefit from that until late August. So I need to get to late August, okay? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, how can you tip? If you look at the description of the stream, there's a link, or you can type !tip into the stream chat. That also works. I appreciate all contributions. I will give you a shout out no matter what kind of a contribution you do, as long as your contributions are positive and not trying to derail the stream or insult me. I have no obligation to say or do anything on my streams, but I'm greatly appreciative for all of your contributions, and that's why I go out of my way to try to give a shout out to every single one that comes in. Okay? All right, so I think we've pretty much covered everything. What's hilarious is that you get someone like Sammy Wonders is paying $9,000 a month in bills. If you actually add up an actual fucking household's bills in a month, $9,000, think about a mortgage, condo dues, taxes, food, utilities. Guess what, bro? It adds up. I hate to tell you this. It really does. You don't realize that because you're probably living in your parents' basement, you know, paying nothing. You probably don't even have a job. And you're going to sit here and criticize. You don't even understand. You don't even understand how much it could be. Now, I'm not saying it's $9,000. I don't know. I'm not sitting here and doing the math in my head, but you have no clue. But that's it. Immature people with no actual experience or concept of money want to sit here and criticize. Well, why don't you try to fucking maintain a household like I do? All right? Because I guarantee you this guy doesn't do shit. He says, I do understand. Thanks for picking on me. Well, you picked on me first. So it goes hand in hand. Thank you for picking on me first and trying to make a joke out of my life, because I really appreciate that. And it's funny when I turn the tables on you, how you react negatively because, you know, you can't take what you dish out. I mean, that's how it works, right? Everyone on the internet who's a bully is really a pussy in real life. That's why you do it. I mean, why else would you do it anonymously over the internet? Let's be honest. If not, you'd be a big shot in real life. You wouldn't have to bully and pick on people on the internet anonymously. I mean, come on now. What do you think was going to happen? Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, that was pretty good. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you in advance for any contributions. I appreciate it. I am looking forward to a great stream with you guys today, and hopefully we can make some progress. And in regards to game news today, I really don't got much for you. There's really not much going on. There's still a lot of controversy surrounding the Ghost of Tsushima expansion and director's cut announcement. I talked about this a couple days ago. I gave you my opinion. So the announcement is thus. There's a director's There's a director's cut of Ghost of Tsushima coming out in August 20th. Now, this includes not only some gameplay expansions and improvements, but also the DLC, which is the island of Iki or Ikishima, because they said the name of it is going to be Ghost of Ikishima, I guess. And the pricing is as follows. If you already have the PlayStation 4 version, the upgrade, I believe, only costs like $10, but if you want the DLC, it's $20. If you have the PS4 version and you're upgrading to the PS5 version, all right, it's $30 to do the upgrade plus get the DLC. And people are already kind of up in arms because they're like, well, wait a minute, there already was a PS4 version upgrade that you could play on PS5 and it already runs at 60 frames. So what are you realistically getting as new content in the director's edition, a director's cut edition that warrants $30? And also, no one knows how long this DLC is going to be. If the DLC is, 20, 30 hours, then yeah, maybe it warrants a $30 price tag. But maybe it's not. And that's the thing, not knowing, people are kind of up in arms that they're charging for this, especially because a lot of other games have been doing next-gen upgrades completely for free. It was just announced this morning that Witcher 3 is going to get a free next-gen upgrade that will not require any additional investment of money. So when so many games and game studios are doing free upgrades, people are up in arms about this. Why do we have to pay for the next-gen upgrade when everyone else is getting it for free every other game? Personally, for me, I actually don't even care about the next-gen upgrades. 60 frames versus 30. I mean, the game looked gorgeous in 30. I'm sure in 60 it'll look nice, but I don't really care about that. I already played through the entirety of the game at 30, and it was fine, As for other things, like, for example, people are saying, oh, there's haptic feedback now in this director's cut. Great. But haptic feedback for me has mostly been a gimmick. Like, usually I'll notice the haptic feedback of a game within the first few hours of gameplay. By the time I'm actually into the playthrough, the meat of it, I don't really care anymore. It doesn't really affect anything. Just like everything else, all these other gimmicks, that's exactly what it feels like to me. The only game that really utilized haptic feedback nicely throughout the entire game was Astro's Playroom. Outside of that, every other game is just kind of like, oh, it's there, but it doesn't really affect anything too much. So I just kind of shrug, and I'm like, I don't really understand what upgrades I'll be getting playing it on PS5 over PS4, maybe besides loading times. But if you guys remember, the loading times on Ghost of Tsushima were exceptionally good. So it's like, I don't know what's going to be improved. Now, in regards to the expansion, again, I don't mind paying for expansion content. We didn't even know there was going to be expansion content until it was just announced with this other director's cut announcement. But again, if this DLC is like 10 hours long, it ain't worth $30. You know, it really depends on how much content and effort they put into this. And also another thing that I guess should be definitely be mentioned, will it have anything new to it? Or is it literally just going to be, it's Ghost of Tsushima again, exactly the same thing? Because if it has new content, if it has, you know, interesting new story, and new gameplay elements like new combat abilities and new enemy types, that would be neat. If it's literally just go around killing Mongols, following foxes, grappling around at shrines, it's the same exact thing as the main game was, do you really think that's worth $30? You know? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I guess we're going to find out. I mean, I'm definitely going to be playing it. Ghost of Tsushima was one of my favorite games of last year. It was my second favorite game of last year. It was actually very hard for me to choose between Ghost of Tsushima and Yakuza 7 for my game of the year. So, for me, I'm going to play it anyway. But I definitely can see valid criticism in the cost of this upgrade being so expensive when a lot of people are getting free upgrades for their games. Maybe not necessarily free DLC, but getting that free next-gen upgrade, why are they charging for it, right? So, it is what it is, I guess. We'll see what happens, but I'm definitely interested and I'm going to play it. But there's a lot of controversy, a lot of arguments about this on the internet. Some people are of the impression that Ghost of Tsushima is such a good game that it's absolutely worth every dollar, and people should not be up in arms about game developers adding significant amounts of new content to the games and not wanting to give it away for free. Others are like, nah, it's just too pricey. It's just $30 is way too pricey. They should be asking 10 or 20 tops. They should not be asking this much. So, I guess we'll see, again, how it pans out. I'm very excited to see how it works out, and hopefully it is good. I liked the game so much last year. I'm also curious, will it be the main, will it still be, you know, the protagonist from Ghost of Tsushima, or will it be someone different? I don't know. I guess we'll find out, okay? So there you go. Cholo says, wasn't Ratchet & Clank $70? Indeed it was, and as I've told you guys, it was not worth that. Just like Returnal, these games have not been worth the increase in price on PS5. They just haven't been. They're not putting out enough origination content, like original stuff, nor are they putting out enough next-gen feeling gameplay experience for it to be worth $10 extra. So far, the two games... Alright, I take it back, 3, because I played Demon's Souls, too. All 3 games that I played that were PS5 exclusives and I paid $70 for are not worth $70. They're just not. Really. Demon's Souls is exactly the same game as the original with minor tweaks and much better graphics. That's not $70. Returnal, are you kidding me? That's not even a 15-hour game that takes 30 hours to beat because of repetition, because of the roguelike formula. That's not $70. And Ratchet & Clank, after the first stage, basically falls right into the formula of what Ratchet & Clank usually is. Doesn't veer from it. Doesn't really originate. Has amazing graphics. That's about it. That's not $70. You see? Like, none of these have been worth it. Albert Aponte says, look at what you just did with the Old World Blues DLC and Fallout New Vegas. That was worth it. Yeah, if you remember those expansions for Fallout back in the day, right? You would pay $20 for one of those expansions, but it would be like an insane amount of content. I just played Old World Blues for 15 hours and didn't do all the content. There was still more that I missed that I didn't find, you know? But that's what I mean. Like, those are the kind of DLCs that are worth that kind of money. So, I guess we'll see. You know, again, big contention on social media about, is Ghost of Tsushima's expansion worth it or not? Or is it overpriced? So. Okay. Let's get to shout-outs. First of all, let's give shout-outs for contributions here on YouTube. Let's take a look at what we got here this morning. Let me refresh my leaderboard. And by the way, I'm going to crack open a seltzer water. This one is called Spindrift. This is a new kind of seltzer water that has fruit juice incorporated into it. There's no added sugar. It's just seltzer water with fruit juice. So this one is mostly grapefruit, but also has orange juice, lemon juice, and hibiscus, which adds a pink color to it. Interesting. Smells good. See, I like grapefruit juice. This tastes really good to me. Yummy. Okay. Now, some shout-outs, guys. First of all, shout out to Sogo Osaka, who became a new channel member here this morning. Thank you, Sogo Osaka. if my calculations are correct, I forgot to check this morning to see if they stayed 0-69, but we should be at 170 supporters now. I'll have to double check that later today, but I think we will be at 170 now. Yes, thank you for that. Shout out to Alex7AJ, who did a $4.99 super chat. Says, can we play Back for Blood with you when it releases? I would be interested in doing that. I would be interested in having viewers maybe join the party and play with me. But again, it would depend on how it works, which I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know if there will be a lobby system where you can send out a code and people can join your lobby and then play with you. Or if it would be more you have to invite off the friends list. And admittedly, if that's the case, that would be tougher because I haven't used the friends list on my PS5 at all. I don't even know how it works. I'm being honest here. I don't even know how the system works. I know they changed it from PS4, but I really don't understand how it works. And in addition to that, I would not want to add people to my friends list because that just it promotes trolling. So if there's a way to maybe do a lobby and say, okay, here's the lobby. It's a private lobby, but here's the code. Everyone join with the code. When people jump in and try to play one-off games or whatever, that's cool. But I wouldn't want to have to do this elaborate stuff of adding 100 people to my friends list, trying to get them in. It's too messy. So we'll see how they implement it, basically, and go from there. Okay? But I am interested, playing with a group in games like that is much better than trying to fly solo. That's for sure. All right, so now we zip over to the tips. And we start off today's tipping with Xbox One is Garbage, who tipped me $1.30 and says, all I'm doing today is smoking weed and playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Well, considering the length of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, even if you play it all day, you'll probably beat about 2% of it. So, enjoy yourself. I did enjoy Assassin's Creed Valhalla, although admittedly the game is so effing long that by the time I got to the end of it, it was like, alright already, just end it. One of the problems I definitely have with that game is the pacing, where they add in so many regions that you need to go to and basically become friendly with the locals. By the time you're doing it the 10th time, you're like, this is ridiculous. Like, why are we doing this? Why couldn't this be a more streamlined story? They really made it a long and drawn-out game. But if you're enjoying the gameplay of it and the gameplay elements, you should really like the game. It has an insane amount of content, that's for sure. Snow Carl tipped me $1.30. So I know it's political. What's wrong with George Washington? Who cares about personal flaws? Armor Holler or Julius Caesar, great men because they were killed and destroyed their enemies. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not making this stream political. People over the years always seem to try to undermine historical figures and or say, oh, look, they weren't very good people because they did this or did this. At one point, like, all the American leaders had slaves. Like, everyone had slaves. I don't think there was a single example of an American politician who was in charge around the time of the American Revolution who didn't own slaves. That was just a common practice among the American leaders. Does that mean now that today we should all hate them and say they were all horrible people? Or should we instead say, we understand now this is an insanely bad practice that never should have happened. We know better now. And yes, we should call out those bad practices for happening, but perhaps we should focus on the good things people did than necessarily on all the bad things. Right? You know what they say? If you ignore history, it's destined to repeat itself. So we shouldn't forget that things like slavery happened. We should talk about it all the time. We should educate the young people about it and say this is wrong. Don't ever do it. Don't ever condone it. This is one of the horrible things that happened in American history that we were ashamed of. But at the same time, does that mean undo all the good actions of every person ever who did something wrong? That's kind of how I look at it. Okay? Yeah, George Washington owned slaves, but he also did many good things. And just because he did something very wrong, does that completely negate all the good things he ever did? Sadly, with today's cancel culture, they'll say yes. They'll say, oh, we don't care that this person cured cancer because, he wore blackface in college at a party. That's what cancel culture would say. And it's like, well, blackface is incredibly stupid, very fucking insulting, and should have never been done. But, the guy cured cancer. It's kind of a big thing. So, and by the way, I'm not saying that our American leaders cured cancer. But you see, the point I'm saying is that you have to weigh the good with the bad. Another thing that really gets me is the inability of people to separate someone's work from their personal. And what I mean by that is, Someone could be a great movie director, or a great writer, or a great musician, or a great artist. And then they may have political views you don't agree with. Does that completely off-put the quality of what they put out for work? Because you don't agree with them? Like, for example, if someone is a great singer and songwriter, but they're a Democrat, and you hate the Democrats, right? Does that mean that they're not a great singer or songwriter? No. But people need to find a way to separate that shit. Because the thing is, you need to be mature to do that. Seriously, you need to be mature to be able to do that. And a lot of people just aren't. To them, the world is black and white. So I can't accept that there's something good and something bad about a person. If it's something bad, that's it. It negates all the good. I'm not that kind of person. I tend to try to see both sides. And even though I'm certainly not going to condone the bad things that people do, I'm also not going to completely negate the good things that they do. I'm going to try to see it as a total picture kind of a deal, right? So that's kind of my take. You could disagree. You could completely disagree, and that's okay if you do. But that's my take on it. So when you talk about historical leaders in the United States, I agree with you. They are not squeaky clean. They're not giant paragons of goodness. They're not infallible heroes. They were flawed people, just like you and me. They did terrible things, just like you and me do. On a daily basis, we do bad things, and then we regret them, and we try to become better people, right? Back then, absolutely everyone owned slaves. They shouldn't have, and we decry that today, and we should. Does that mean that we forget everything that those people did back then? No. You have to look at it from a mature standpoint, which a lot of people just can't do. So there you go. Phil Cosby hot take. Phil Cosby? You call me Phil Cosby. Well, here's one right now. Bill Cosby, right? America's dad. Someone who, at one point, was known as the squeaky clean paragon of goodness of the male adult in America. Right? Everyone loved the guy. They loved the fact that his stand-up comedy was good. He had, the Cosby Show was one of the most popular shows ever in American sitcom history. You did movies. And then it was revealed that the guy was a sexual predator, right? Now, does that negate all the stuff that the guy did previously? Could you basically say the Cosby Show sucks? I mean, some people probably would. They say, yeah, the Cosby Show sucks because he's a sexual predator. Other people would be like, well, wait. The Cosby Show was well-written, well-acted, had an ensemble cast, was a well-done show, and we can look at that at a time in American history and say, the show was good, the man is shit. Do you see the difference? The show was good. The man is a piece of crap. There's a difference there. But people can't do that. They go, oh my God, Bill Cosby is a terrible person. Everything he's ever done was terrible. What are you going to do? Okay. Anyway, let's continue. The UPS guy tipped me $2.30. He says, happy 4th of July, Phil. My celebration of every year is basically laying around playing games or going out to get a steak or maybe watching you. I need you to make my days go by faster. I bought a Camaro. I can't get it till Thursday. I need some Longhorn steak. I haven't had a steak in a long time. I'm trying to remember the last time I even ate a steak. I couldn't even tell you. It's been that long because, me with my red meat problems, acid levels in my body. It's not a good idea to eat a steak unless I'm not going to be eating red meat for like an entire week afterward. I'm happy to hear that you have made it a part of your routine to enjoy my content on today. Even if I don't stream on the 4th of July, I'm still have on-demand content that you can always watch here on DSPGaming. So that's a cool thing. And I hope you have a good one today, no matter what you're playing or if you're watching my streams or both. Awesome. Sounds good. And thank you for the support. That was the biggest actual tip of the day, by the way. So, is the gout something that can come back? Of course it is. With my entire life now, I have to now watch the acid levels in my body. My whole life. I have to watch how much I eat red meat and shellfish, how many like over-the-top fatty foods or acidic foods I eat. I have to watch how much I drink. Like my whole life, I have to now manage my diet for this, because if I just go crazy, like for example, if I eat red meat today and I eat red meat tomorrow and then I have a drink, my foot could literally swell up with acid crystals and become stabbing pain and excruciating. That's how much it could flare up. Or it could not happen at all. It's actually kind of a weird thing because there's been times when I forgot about my diet, wasn't paying attention. I was like, oh shit, now it's going to flare up, and it didn't. I was like, oh, close call, right? But I haven't had a serious flare up in about 4 years. I'm trying to remember. The last time that I had a serious flare up was actually, I want to say 2017. And that was because, you know, back then I was living alone. And I was honestly pretty depressed. I wasn't really paying attention to much. And I believe a few days in a row I ate the wrong stuff. And then, whoop! And I said, oh, fuck me. But ever since, you know, I've been with Kat. And she's been, you know, watching out for me. Because that's what people who love each other do. They look out for each other. And watching the diet and everything, we've been good. Like, I have not had a serious flare-up at all. Every once in a while, you'll still get a little bit of pain. Like, I'll get a little bit of pain and swelling it randomly every once in a while. But usually it's not a big deal. I'm able to enjoy red meat, you know, 1 or 2 times a week if I want to, or shellfish. Can't do both. If you eat a bunch of red meat and shellfish, you're fucked. But you gotta, like, balance it. You know what I mean? That's why people are like, Phil, why do you always say eat turkey and chicken? This is why, because turkey and chicken have incredibly low uric acid in them. It doesn't exacerbate your uric acid levels in your body, while red meat and shellfish absolutely do. Jack, we are having turkey hot dogs tonight. It's because Jack just said, didn't you eat hamburger helper last night? Right? Which I didn't. It was disgusting, and I'm never doing that shit again. But anyway, he goes, did you have hamburger helper last night? Now you're gonna have now you're gonna have hot dogs tonight? Isn't that a problem? It would be if we were eating beef, but they're turkey hot dogs. And they're good. Turkey hot dogs are crazy good. I recommend them. Oscar Mayer turkey hot dogs taste very, very good to me. They taste like normal hot dogs. Okay. So anyway, thank you, UPS guy, for the biggest tip of the day. Snow Carl did another $1.30 tip and says, when you say you're trying to hit every tips goal, how are you trying aside from changing the tips goals? Don't you think that starting at the wrong end and perhaps changing things on the stream would increase revenue? Yes, but what would I change on the stream that would dramatically increase revenue? You know, what can I do? I'm already streaming as much as I possibly can. I'm playing a variety of games you guys mostly have voted and asked for. And I'm trying to do as much interactive content as I possibly can so that you guys feel engaged and fun. All the feedback I'm getting is that the streams are good, right? That's the feedback I'm getting. So all I can do is continue to push forward and do good content for you and tell you, hey, let's do more rewards, let's do more of this, and hopefully that incentivizes people to contribute, right? Drop Danganronpa and Mass Effect. Danganronpa will not be dropped. I've already played it for almost 50 hours, and we're nearing the end of the game. Mass Effect 3, I would drop if there was a mass consensus to drop it, I would drop it. That's the truth. I'm liking it, but if there's a mass consensus, people are telling me, nah, we're bored with it, we don't want it anymore, then I would drop it, okay? But there has not been a mass consensus to drop it. There has been a few requests, but there has not been a mass consensus as of yet. So, if it does happen, and people are like, all right, we're just not going to show up for the streams anymore, we don't like the game, fine. We could do something else. What should we do? I don't know. We got to talk about that. But, you know, it's up to you guys. Timbo Slice, what flavor of hamburger helper did we have? It was gross. Ready? Italian shells. It was so fucking nasty. It took an hour to cook. Seriously, it takes an hour to cook hamburger helper. I don't understand why, but it does. Because you got to cook the meat and drain the meat, which takes about 10 minutes. Then you got to put the meat back into the skillet. You got to add all the ingredients, stir them up, and boil. That takes about 10 minutes to get it to boil. Then on top of that, you've got to then have it simmer for another 25 minutes so it'll thicken. So already you're 45, 50 minutes into this, right? Then you got to serve, and you have to wait for it to cool down because it's so fucking hot when it comes out of it. It's incredibly hot. So an hour to make it. And I tasted it. I'm like, this tastes disgusting. It was like flavorless, bland goo. The pasta was not good. The pasta's shitty. Has no flavor to it. The cheese sauce is terrible. It's just the blandest shit. It's like fucking terrible food. Like, God, this sucks ass. And I was talking last night about it When I was a kid, my parents used to make Hamburger Helper. They would make 3 flavors. Cheeseburger, which I thought was the worst. Cheeseburger was by far the least flavorful. Then they would make lasagna. That one was not bad because it had almost an Italian flavor to it with some tomato flavoring. And then there was beef stroganoff. And that one was not bad either. Because it actually had that weird... I don't even know what's in beef stroganoff. But it had that other oddball kind of flavor to it. So that one was alright. But I absolutely hated the cheeseburger. And I absolutely now hate Italian shells. It's fucking disgusting. I don't know how people can eat that. And then, by the way, after that, I felt sick. I did. Like, after eating it, all night, I felt sick in my stomach. I was like, dude, this is terrible. My wife basically had half a plate of it and said, yeah, it's not good either. She's not eating it either. So anyway, yeah. Let's continue. Andre the DJ has tipped me a whopping $17.76. Nice. Thank you very much, sir. He says, Merry Independence Day. May we never forget our freedoms, and may we never lose our freedoms, for all people deserve to live in a free and just society. A wise character once said, we can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. Sadly, it seems like we're consumed by our petty differences in this country every moment. Like, literally every moment, someone has to find a petty difference between people and point it out, or call it out and cancel someone, or, you know what I mean? Like, it really does feel like the whole idea of a nation united was thrown out the window at some point. I don't know, man. But I thank you very much for the very generous tip. 1776, of course, that commemorates the 1,776 videos that I put out. No, I'm just kidding. It's the year that our country was founded, 1776. Has nothing to do with my videos. Thank you very much, Andre the DJ. Okay. Snowcurl says Italian shells is just a type of pasta. Was it really Italian seasoning? Of course not. It's so gross. You think, oh, it's going to be Italian. The seasoning is orange. What? When you think Italian, you think, oh, tomato, basil, oregano, right? Or cheese, mozzarella. These are common things you think in Italian dishes. Why is the powder orange? I didn't see a single Italian spice put into the Italian shells. So, of course, it was disgusting. Right? Okay. Let's see here. Blender Bottle says, what if you hit a $100 tips goal? You change games or play with viewers? No. That is not my formula. It never has been. I'm not someone who switches games on the fly. When I do a dedicated stream, people know that if they show up to that stream, I'll be playing that game for the entirety of the stream most times. There's a few exceptions, but most times, people know that they can depend on me doing a solid block of gameplay and advancement in a game, especially for a narrative playthrough. People are going to expect that when I stream it, I'm doing 2 to 3 hours of solid gameplay and we'll make progress. Now, Phil played the game for half an hour and then someone dropped a tip. Then he switched to another game no one cares about. You know? That is not the kind of content that I do. I'm sure there's streamers out there that's what they do, because they're not full-time content creators who do playthroughs like I do. Right? I'm sure there's people out there that all they do is stream. They don't care about putting out playthroughs on YouTube. I'm a hybrid guy. I always have been. Even though I do say I am a full-time streamer and that's my focus, the content on YouTube is also important for those who've been long-time supporters and viewers. I'm putting out solid playthroughs while I'm also interacting with you guys. If I just switch on the fly, what am I going to do? Put out a 10-minute video of a game because I got a tip and then switch? It doesn't even make sense. No, I would not consider doing that. Will I ever change it up, asked Snowcrawl? I might. Eventually we might. Well, here's what I'm thinking, and I've been talking about this recently. I think what we should do is start to think of new ideas. Rather than everything be an ongoing narrative playthrough, we should have some variety. One of the ideas that someone had that I think I want to implement is once I get Game Pass, and hopefully once I get an Xbox Series X in particular, we can do these Game Pass events where one night a week we sit down for 2 hours, we go through the Game Pass menu, we figure out, here's like 5 games that look interesting, and then we could do Game Pass days where I just sit there and just try out the games from Game Pass and see what they're all about. This would expose me to a wide variety of games that normally I wouldn't play, and also might find some really neat games that I want to try out, in particular indies that I miss, right? So try out some of these games. Maybe I want to play them at length. You know, I think that's a great idea. I think that would be a really good idea. I don't want to completely destroy my formula of what I do. You know, I just don't. I want to make it so that if I do change things, it's a slow gravitation towards that change. There are people who've been watching me for many, many years who would be very upset if all of a sudden overnight I change the kind of content that I put out. All right? I don't want to do that. At the same time, I agree with you. Things can't just stay stagnant forever. We have to advance. There have to be some new ideas and things that are implemented. What really sucks is that we had new ideas and things implemented earlier this year that were completely ended by Twitch. Remember, when I was doing Call of Duty streams, we were doing Penne Points wagers. It made the Call of Duty streams way more interactive and exciting. We were doing the same thing with that Mario Marathon event. Those were really cool new things that I was enjoying and you guys were loving. And what happened? Ended by Twitch because of some dumb fuck who had absolutely a bug up their ass about me or something, and that was the end of it. Because they're a fucking piece of shit. You know? And that's fucked up. Let's ruin this guy's livelihood. Let's ruin all this cool original stuff he's doing with his community just because I got my bug up my ass about this guy, even though he did nothing wrong. Fuck you. So, that sucks shit. It really does. It sucks shit. And I'm sad about it. But there's nothing I can do about that. We gotta make do. We gotta try to make things happen here over on YouTube, you know? Let's hope for the best, right? Let's focus on positivity. Let's hope for the best. And let's look for new things. So I think this Game Pass idea is definitely a good one that I could probably implement starting maybe even as early as next month. So like I said, it looks like next month, even if I don't have an Xbox Series X, which there's no way I could buy, I'm probably going to be playing Hades, 12 Minutes, and Psychonauts 2 under Game Pass. So maybe we could start implementing stuff like this. Okay? Snowcarl says, the trolls pretend like you're some super stubborn guy who just shits on people when they ask you to change, but you always have an open discussion. Of course, all ideas can't be implemented. Yeah. Like I told you guys a million times, the whole multiplayer with Phil thing, unless the game has closed lobbies that you can invite people to manually with a code or whatever, there's really no way for me to implement it. The trolls will always ruin it. I've only explained this a million times over the years. As much as I know you guys like multiplayer, the chaotic mess that it would be with the trolls involved, it's not worth the effort. And trust me, every time that we talk about this, they're literally sitting on the sidelines like Mr. Burns. I'm not kidding you. This is what they do. They sit here on the sidelines like this, and they're going, oh, excellent, he'll do multiplayer that we can finally ruin after 5-6 years of waiting. That's how they are. They're nuts. They will be sitting in the wings waiting to come in and ruin it. So that's why I know from experience not to even bother with that shit. There's no point. There's literally no point in doing it because all it does is it empowers the trolls to ruin something. You know? Okay. Why not a PS Plus Xbox Live Gold Games Day? It's free once a month to see the newest games. Because usually the games I've already played. King Furbs. For example, this month on PS Plus, excuse me, is it Xbox Gold or PS Plus? Now I'm having a brain fart about which it is. I think it's PS Plus. So it's A Plague Tale, Innocence, right? That game, which I already played. Black Ops 4 Blackout, or excuse me, just Black Ops 4. I don't even know if it includes Blackout, but it's Black Ops 4. Already played that game. And WWE 2K Battlegrounds. Already played that game. So, you know, if these were games that I hadn't already played or whatever, maybe it would be more interesting. But these are games I've already played. So it ends up being not... I mean, how exciting would that be? Oh, look, here's 3 games I've played. Re-download them. Snowcrawl, you're not the first person to ask that. I will answer that question as honestly as I can. He says, can we do a special fundraiser stream so you can buy an Xbox Series X? No. And here's why. This is me being honest with you. Here, I'm going to show you my face to answer this question. Right now, no exaggeration, no lying. I'm in a bad financial position. I have to raise as much money as I possibly can on a daily basis just to pay my bills. It would be incredibly irresponsible for me to do a special event to fundraise to buy an Xbox Series X when I'm not paying my bills. You see what I'm saying? I have to pay all this stuff, this mortgage coming up, bills right after the mortgage, all before I get paid by YouTube this month. It would be the most ridiculous, irresponsible thing for me to do a special event, let's buy a console, but I don't pay my bills. You see? I can't do that. But morally, it's wrong. And quite frankly, legally, you would think that I'm tied more to pay the bills that I owe than buying a console for myself. So, no, I'm not, I can't do that. You know, until everything's is paid off and okay, I can't be doing that stuff, man. Now, if someone were to buy me an Xbox Series X and send it to me, well, then that wasn't any money that was in my hands or anything, and therefore that would be okay. But no, I can't have fundraisers or people sending me money to buy an Xbox Series X. It has to go towards the things that have to be paid. Okay? Okay. Anything else, guys? Any other questions? Remember, we're going to take a quick break here for me to use the restroom, and then I'm going to get started here with Mario Golf. I just have any other final questions or things to talk about before we get started. Derek says he's ready for Mario Golf. I'm glad that you're here, Derek. Good to see you. Happy 4th of July, even though you don't celebrate it up there in Canada. Would The Witcher 5... Would The Witcher 5... Holy shit. Would The Witcher 3 PS5 version be something I'm considering playing? Maybe in the future. I'm certainly not playing any insanely lengthy RPGs now. I'm already tied up in so many insanely lengthy games now. There's no way that I would be doing that, but maybe in the future, yes. I would like to replay the game at some point. No grilling burgers because Kat is at work until late tonight making turkey dogs and beans, and then when she comes home later today, she's going to warm her stuff up and have the same thing. But we can't eat together because she's not home till after 8 p.m. tonight. I'll be streaming, so... Do I still play Ratchet and Clank? No, we beat it. We beat Ratchet and Clank. It's all over. It's done. Okay, guys. I think it is time. Let's take a break. I'll use the restroom. When I come back, it's Mario Golf Super Rush. Trying to beat the 4th course. It already whooped my ass the first attempt. So we'll see if the second attempt's any better. And go from there. Thank you guys for your support. I really appreciate that. And I'll see you all after the break. Grab a drink, grab a snack, use the restroom, whatever you need to do, and I'll see you in a few, guys.